this town hall yesterday where President Biden is talking about student loan relief, student debt relief. Let's play that clip.
Student loans are crushing my family, friends, and fellow Americans.
Me too.
The American dream is to succeed, but how can we fulfill that dream when debt is many people's only option for a degree? We need student loan forgiveness beyond the potential $10,000 your administration has proposed. We need at least a $50,000 minimum. What will you do to make that happen?
I will not make that happen.
I feel your pain. I hear your pain. That was like, that wasn't like, I feel your pain. It was like, yeah, you think I'm kidding. I know some kids who, in our family, you know, the third cousins we don't talk to, who've got some student loans. I told them to go to Ukraine and go work for my son. Try to pay him off. That's how we deal with it. Why can't you do that? Come on, guys. Just go work for an energy company.
It's kind of the perfect example of not really understanding what the deal is. I mean, you know, I'm sure when Joe Biden's, you know, his kids were with the school probably the, 80s and 90s, it was expensive, but he was also, his kids went to private school and they were, he was a senator, and I don't think that he quite gets it. I don't think he's probably talked to anyone that's dealt with student debt in that way in so long. I don't think that senators really understand it. They can look at the math. They don't really get how crushing it is. Even they talk about, Biden said, I don't want people who want the elite private schools to get the help. And it's like, people who go to elite private schools who are wealthy already pay for it. They paid for it because they're wealthy. It's the people who go to elite private schools and don't have the money, but they're told to go because that's their key to success, which doesn't come because this generation after generation has just been crushed. And those are the people who need it most in a lot of cases.
And they probably wouldn't qualify for it, too. Let's make that. These are federal loans. We're not talking about private loans.
Yeah. And in a lot of cases, yeah. I mean, I think it's a matter of just like those people need help. And it shouldn't matter like how much money you make. It shouldn't matter. I mean, to some degree, like it shouldn't matter how much money you make or what school you go to. If I feel like we've been told, especially people our age, like their whole lives, go to college, it'll all work out. And then you leave college and income hasn't risen in like 30, 40 years.
Simon?
Yeah, I was just going to say in response to what Jordan was talking about, how Biden is maybe a little bit out of touch, a little bit removed from the suffering that people have now or the kinds of debt that people are carrying. I think you're absolutely right. And I actually watched like the longer version of his answer, and it just gets worse. Like he goes and talks about how at one point he was the poorest senator, and his children went into all of these, like he's like, oh, my son went to Yale and got this degree and then had a bunch of debt. And I'm like, okay, well, most people can't even go to Yale. Like, and if they do take on that kind of debt, like they don't have a parent who's a senator. It's like, he's just totally, and he goes on for minutes and talks about that. And then he goes and says, oh, and then like, but you will be able to work off some of your debt, which is ridiculous because people are already trying to work off their debt. And they're not, and it's clearly not working for them. So it's really, really, really like frustrating and just reeks of this sort of like total detachment from like the average American's experience.
And just in terms of economics, right? Like it'd be $1.9 trillion if you wipe that out or a lot of that out. So many people will be free to, I don't know, have a kid, get a house, get a home, spend money in the economy. We're getting to the point where anyone below the age 40 has no savings. And what are the things going to happen? You think the economy is just going to keep going the way people are when they're in debt? And not only that, then people would flock to Democrats for generations. That's right. Like the same thing with the New Deal. If they were to relieve $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 in college debt, I would vote for anybody who would do that.
Yes. I mean, nothing about this makes any sense to me. First off, he can, with a pen, he can wipe it away, and it literally does not affect anything. Anything.
The government owns it. It's not even private debt.
It's not private debt. Furthermore, he comes from Credit Card Delaware. I'm pretty sure that these credit card companies would love it if the people who grew up off of credit cards because they couldn't afford to survive could suddenly start paying off their credit cards because they had some extra money. So there's that. I think the landlords would love it because they're like, oh, look, I can keep people in housing because they don't have to first go to their student loans because they can't get rid of their student loans and go live in their parents' basements, as Hillary Clinton said. It would solve so many of the other crises in which other industries are now suddenly struggling because everybody who has a student loan has to pay their student loans first, or else they're coming for you. You don't have a choice other than like working it off. Oh, you want indentured servitude now?
But you know who passed that bill, who sponsored that bill in the Senate to make it undischargeable was Joe Biden.
Yeah. So he's got to, he's just living out his. Well, that's the other thing is like there was such a sometimes he does this thing that Bill Clinton I've noticed has been doing lately, or like last 10 years. They get very angry when confronted and lose whatever that touch that they've always, when they're on and when they're campaigning and when they're talking to the second grader, or Bill Clinton's, out there shaking hands. What that got them into office, the campaign mode. The campaign mode switches off. And it's like the guillotine mode. The guillotines are coming, and they just like put their foot down even more, whether it's Bill Clinton arguing with a veteran at a diner, if you guys remember that clip, or arguing with Black Lives Matter protesters, or this. It's like this inhumane side is just revealed. And you're like, oh, you're just completely heartless. You disgusting human. You know exactly what's going on. And the fact that you're still better than Trump just shows you the state of this country right now.
It's like Andrew Cuomo, except he's not charming, really. He gets even more pissed when he's challenged.
Jordan, next week, we could just do an entire Andrew Cuomo segment. That's a show.
I spoke with Ron Kim this weekend, and then Cuomo just ripped on him. And
yeah, Assemblyman Ron Kim, Queens, shout out.
Yep, I don't want to get into Cuomo, but I'm glad that people realize what a terrible person he is.
Yes. If I will give a shout out, if it's still on the market, I don't know if it's easy to find or hard to find. There's a great biography about Andrew Cuomo that the Michael Shaman. I apologize to Michael, but it's a great book if you can find it. I don't think it's being printed anymore because Andrew Cuomo does what he does. Very good writer. It was unauthorized, of course, but really good, very well sourced and checked. And I believe that the author is now writing about art.
Yeah, I'm sure his source is dried up.
I tried to get an interview with him a while back, and he was like, I am no longer talking about Andrew Cuomo. I now write about art. I was like, and that tells you. By the way, breaking news, Andrew, I think the Cuomo family, Contender, that's it, exactly. Thank you. You are on it. Although we don't push Amazon. It's just the only way we can find it. Shayerson, that's it. Turns out an aide to Andrew Cuomo is rumored to be taking over CNN.
Well, good. Is it Chris Cuomo?
No, it's just going to be all Cuomos. Maria Cuomo's going to have a cooking show, and no, it's whatever. I forgot Andrew Cuomo's mom's name. They're going to talk about their risotto recipe.
Wasn't he married to a Food Network host for a while?
Yes, but they've broken up.
They're dating?
So.
Okay, yeah. No,
they were together for a long time. Now we're on to the portion of the Cuomo gossip segment. Simon, have any thoughts?
No, I'll leave this one to you.
Lucky.
All right, guys, if you want to stick around, Jordan and I are going to do a 2-person show on the Cuomo family. Thanks for watching and listening to The Nomiki Show. But remember to click like and subscribe on YouTube, and please share on social media. If you're not already a patron, please join us for as low as $5 a month on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for early and special content. That investment makes a huge difference. We are not corporate media raking in the dough. It's really you guys that are keeping us going. So please consider being a patron. And to our current patrons, thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful to you. We also now have swag. So check us out on thenomikishow.com to get your mugs, your totes, and your stickers.